Hello everybody, I'm Tom Daniels at Esports Insider, and we are here in Chengdu, China, where we are covering the Crossfire Stars 2023 tournament, the FPS title commonly known in China. What we're going to be talking about in this episode in particular is Crossfire Esports and why it is so big in China, and what are the recent developments that are going on to make it sure it is a more prominent force in the Western world. Because of that, we'll be speaking to Seong Hoon, who is the team manager of the Esports strategy team at Smilegate, and they're also our coverage partner for this episode and this entire series as well. Smilegate are the tournament organizer of the Crossfire Stars 2023 event, alongside the other events that they have done as well. So really looking forward to this conversation, and hopefully you learn a little bit more about Crossfire Esports as a result. So let's jump into it. It's a pleasure to speak to you all about, well, Crossfire and Crossfire Esports in general. I think one thing that I really want to get off the bat straight away is that probably for a lot of our audience, they aren't actually aware exactly what Crossfire and Crossfire Esports is. And I thought this would be a really good opportunity to give a little bit of a history lesson into Crossfire Esports. Could you give us a little bit of details about the esports scene in general and how it developed?
Well, first of all, as you're probably aware, Crossfire is an old game. It's an old game. It's classic. It's a very classic FPS title, and it was first launched in 2007. Crossfire Esports, well, it started, of course, after the release of the game, but the official, what we call the CFS, we call it the CFS, the official CFS Worldwide Esports, launched starting from 2013. Our first major international tournament started as CFS Season 1. It was called CFS Season 1, and it was hosted back in 2013, and we've marked our 10th anniversary of CFS tournaments.
So as you can see with CFS Esports, what you said with it being like 10 years from the beginning, how have you seen that development go through and that history go through from the first CFS Esports event right now to, coming back home essentially to the same place in Chengdu, 10 years later?
Well, when we first launched CFS Season 1, who would have thought this major Crossfire tournament was to develop for the next 10 years? We didn't expect that when we started our first tournament, but now, as we mark our 10th anniversary of CFS Esports, CFS Grand Finals, I mean, we've earned more viewership and wider audience enjoying and watching our beloved Crossfire Esports, CFS Esports. So we're just glad to have to say we're glad, but also honored. Actually, we're very honored to mark our 10th anniversary with our Crossfire and CFS Esports users.
Was the idea for Crossfire Esports to always essentially become a major popular game in China specifically? Because it feels like the game is, very, very popular in this country, even having, we've got, we're in Chengdu right now, and we've got Chengdu All Gamers, which is a Chengdu-based team itself. Was that always the expectation when you first launched the game, that it would become this big in China?
Well, of course, I think the strong point of Crossfire, the game itself, Crossfire in China, is we as a company are trying to understand what our Crossfire China users want, which aspects inside the game they love, and local marketing, local marketing to China has been very effective, and from our company we always try to take care of the most to our Crossfire China users. That also includes our Crossfire Esports. Crossfire Esports, we are always trying to give. Of course, we are trying to give the best Crossfire Esports experience to all of our worldwide Crossfire Esports users, and also including our Crossfire China users. And we are always trying to provide our best effort to provide the best esports experience to our beloved Crossfire users, including Crossfire China and Crossfire China esports users.
And then how did the development of Brazil happen in the Crossfire esports scene? From what I've seen from doing research, it started off very China dominated with a lot of teams, and then suddenly there was this brief period where Brazil suddenly came into the equation and still is now competing alongside China. Like, how did that kind of occur?
Okay, first of all, I would like to mention that Crossfire Brazil is also, we've got a huge fan base and also a wide range of our esports players currently competing in the Crossfire Brazil scene. I think the most important part of Crossfire Brazil esports development started from when we first launched our Pro League. We've got a professional Pro League system in not just in China, but also we are currently operating Crossfire professional leagues such as, it's called CFBL, Crossfire Brazil League in Brazil, CFWL, which is the Crossfire West League, and also the CFVL, which is the Crossfire Vietnam League. So we are basically operating these top-tier professional leagues in basically worldwide professional leagues. We are giving our best to provide a stable, playable environment to our Pro League players. It's for example, for our foreign professional leagues such as CFBL, CFWL, and CFVL, it's not just the prize pool. It's not just a large prize pool. We also provide a program called the Player Support Program. It's like a monthly salary support directly given to the players. So we are trying to provide a stable. We've given our best efforts to provide a very stable environment to the players, and through that, I think especially in Brazil, the players, they were able to through providing that stable environment to our Brazilian Crossfire players, they stepped up. They kind of stepped up, and they're giving their best to compete. To compete as a top performer in our CFS esports scene.
Is that the ambition then with Crossfire now that it has got this kind of stronghold in China? It is now to branch out into other regions and try and make the World Championships even more of a World Championships by including even more teams?
Well, I think if you're talking about CFS esports, yes, that's correct. We are trying to provide to our audiences a larger tournament with a variety, with an even more variety of teams to compete in this tournament. And it's okay. Let's just see the fact. For example, if China is indeed dominant, if only China is dominant, it's not fun to watch, right? It's not fun. It's not entertaining. What we're trying to do is not just support China, but also support our professional teams from other regions. We also want them to further develop their skills and their playing environments, so they can also be one of the top performers in our CFS esports scene. We're always providing best efforts, and we're trying to develop our league system even further to bring more competence, to bring more competence to our CFS esports scene.
A couple of last things that I really want to talk about is the Chinese league in particular. It is a franchise league, if I can remember. Like, how did the idea of creating a franchise model happen for Crossfire?
Probably, CFPL, of course, Crossfire Pro League in China. That's our largest Pro League, by the way. It has always been very dominant in our Pro League scene, and it has continuously developed. But also from the CFPL's perspective, they always wanted to bring some changes to the environment, a more stable environment to the franchise club, to the franchise teams, to the professional teams. Yes. When it first started to the professional teams, they wanted to provide a more stable environment to the Chinese professional teams and clubs, and through that we were able to adopt the franchise league system, as you mentioned, in order to provide a more stable environment to these Chinese professional teams. I think we adopted the franchise league. It started to bring a more stable environment to these top professional teams in China.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so now talking about the future, we're going back to Crossfire Stars 2023. What are the ambitions for the tournament as a whole going into, well, we've had 10 years, so in the next 10 years in the future, I guess?
Oh, that is that is indeed a difficult question. That is a really difficult question to answer. But in the next 10 years, our ambition is to further develop our CFS esports scene, and become the dominant FPS esports tournament worldwide. I think that is our ambition, and we would like to stay even more competitive in this scene. I think that is our ambition for the next 10 years. And yes, after 10 years, I'm pretty sure I will meet you again in the CFS 2033 Grand Finals.
Yeah, and then I'll be talking about the next 20 years.
20 years.
Yes, yeah, from
I think I'll be too old for that.
Perfect. Thank you so much for speaking to me about Crossfire. Hopefully, everybody got at least a little bit of information about the scene itself, and and how it's thriving in China and the developments that happen in the future. Do you have anything else just to add at the end, if you want to say anything to anybody who is unaware of Crossfire, the esports scene in general, as like a final statement to make on the esports scene itself?
Okay, first of all, I would like to mention, I would first like to say, show my sincere gratitude to all of our CFS esports fans worldwide. We are giving best efforts to provide the best Crossfire esports experience to our users, or sometimes in Chinese term, which we call CFers. We're always trying to give them the most interesting and most competitive esports competitions to our fans. But please look forward to our next 10 years, as mentioned. Please look forward to our next 10 years. Not just the next 10 years, but actually starting from next year as well. We are giving our best effort to even further develop our CFS esports. Just look forward to our changes and efforts, and I'll see you in the year 2024 as usual as well. Thank you very much.